Oh, another unnecessary close-up.
I have my Christmas cactus here because I had a couple requests about the Christmas cactus, questions and stuff like that. This thing I didn't buy. I got some little clippings from a friend a long time ago, about 2 to 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. So I took the little clippings, tossed them in the soil, and this is what happened. And I wanted to show you how I did it. So I'm going to bring you in close and show you how to take clippings off of a Christmas cactus. So if you have a friend that has a Christmas cactus, ask them if you can take clippings. And if they say no, ask them for a glass of water, and while they're in there, take clippings anyway. What are friends for if you can't steal from your friends? So, anyway, come on in and I'll show you how to do this, okay?
Here's how you do it. You take one section of leaf. Don't be tempted to take two sections, because when you're rooting it, it doesn't have any kind of roots to start out with, and it has to support more plant. So the less plant it has to support, the easier it is for the plant to root. So what you do is you go right in between sections, right here, where there's a joint. Don't snap it off. Just take scissors or a very sharp knife, and exactly where it connects, you can see a little line where it connects. Exactly where it connects, cut it. And if you have to err, cut off a little bit more of the second one than the front one. You don't want to cut it off here. If anything, cut it off here. I just cut it off right at the tip. See? It's as simple as that. Then you take this, turn it right side up, and bury it halfway into a little pot with soil. Now if you want to start a big plant, what I would recommend doing is taking your big pot and putting in a whole bunch of these. Space them about maybe 3 inches apart and plant a whole bunch of them. Plant extra because some of them may not make it. That's just the nature of the game. Some of them won't make it. Only keep the top part of the soil moist, because of course the plant isn't at the bottom part, so there's no sense in keeping the whole pot soggy. You're just asking for all kinds of bacteria, fungus, and crap like that. So just keep them watered on the surface. You'll notice when they start growing. It'll take a little while, but eventually you'll see a new one poking out of the top, a little tiny bud type thing, and you're on your way. Once that happens, you can start watering them just a little bit more. Isn't it scary looking? It looks like a little devil, doesn't it? But that's how I started my Christmas cactus, and it just grew and it grew and it grew, and now I can't get it to stop. I've already transplanted it once. And that's how you take a clipping. It's as easy as that. No special precautions, no rooting hormone, nothing special. Like I say to everybody, don't overthink it. Just clip it off, stick it in the soil, give it a little bit of water, and let it go.
So when you take the clippings, by the way, don't put the plant in a sunny window right off the bat. That's true with any kind of transplant. Put it in a shady area of your house with a little bit of light, but not too much light, for like say the first week. Because if the plant is in the sun, it's going to want to grow, and it's hard for it to grow when it has no roots, you know. So you want to give it shade just for a while so that it doesn't grow any, and it spends its time and energy putting down roots. Once it starts putting down roots, then you put it in the sun and everything's a go. Christmas cactus require very little care. I really don't do much for this thing at all except pull off the dead flowers and water it once in a while. I do give it shots of compost tea. That's probably the secret. Oh, this thing's put my leg to sleep. It's heavy. And that's the secret of this monster plant. I give it compost tea maybe twice a year, not very often at all. Once in the spring, once in the fall. The springtime gets it all through the summer because it's an indoor plant. The springtime compost tea gets it all through summer, and then in the fall, before winter sets in, I give it another shot, and that gives it the flowers for the Christmas season and gives it energy to get all the way through the winter. Other than that, I let the soil dry out, and then I give it a good shot of water. Water very thoroughly, then let it dry out. These things can dry out a bit. You know, they're not, I don't know if they're really a cactus, but they're a succulent, and they can dry out a bit, and it's good for them to do that, because if you keep them wet all the time, their roots have no reason to grow, and they just sit there, and the plant doesn't do very well. When you let a plant dry out, the roots kick in because there's no water, and it starts shooting down roots. Then when you water it again, it rewards it. Let it dry out, the roots shoot down some more. You get a good strong root system that way, and it's good for the plant. Also, when you let the soil dry out a little bit, any kind of things like fungus gnats or any kind of organisms or fungus that are growing in very wet soil, it disrupts their cycle a little bit when it's dry. When you do your little transplants and they're growing, until they get around, I'd say 6 inches tall, don't let them flower. They may want to flower and it may look cute, but when they're so young, it really takes a lot of energy for these things to put out flowers, and you want to give it the best start possible. So if it starts to put out flowers, just clip the flowers off right where they come out of the plant, and you'll be glad that you did. I did that for the first year on this thing, and it just went, ate crazy. As far as sun, these things prefer bright light. I don't know if they prefer direct sunlight because I've never given it direct sunlight. I just put it by a bright window that does not have very much direct sunlight. It has a little bit, but not much. So, bright light. That's it. If you have any questions about the Christmas cactus, toss a comment down there, and I read all the comments, by the way. Or send me an email, throw a rock at me, something like that, and I'll answer your questions, okay?